This program does not represent the views of this station and may be considered offensive to some listeners. This program may contain mature subject matter, including frank discussions of controversial topics. It is intended for mature, open-minded audiences. Discretion is highly advised. This program is entirely independently produced by and is copyrighted by Frank 2005. It is broadcast here under license.
You're listening to Frank Talks Pleasures and Lifestyles, and I'm Frank because I have to be. On today's show, we're doing a very special How to Pick Up and Get Laid on New Year's Eve special program. The guest today, he runs the website called www.youaresoinmyway.com. He's known as Will. He's been interviewed on the David D'Angelo audio series, Interviews with Dating Gurus. He's also appeared at the Cliff's List Convention 2 years in a row for 2005, 2006. And today he is on Frank Talks, Pleasures and Lifestyles. We welcome Will. How you doing, Will?
What's going on, Frank?
All right. Let's go right into this. We did something a bit different this week. I polled various websites looking for questions to find out what people wanted to know about getting laid, picking up on New Year's Eve. I got a bunch of questions. I've emailed them to Will, so we're going to go right to those questions. Let's start off with picking your venue. Should you go to a bar or a club on New Year's Eve? Should you go to a house party, or should you go to one of these hall parties? Will, what do you think?
Personally, if I had my druthers, I would go to a house party, or a few house parties. One, it's a more intimate setting. There's less people, and a lot of times you get introduced to the young ladies by the host or your friend who's throwing it. And there's nothing better than a warm referral to get you started on the right foot.
All right. Now, couldn't the same be said as of a hall party or going to a bar or club?
It depends on, at this point, it depends on what your game is. Now, everyone, you can be honest, you know exactly what your game is at this point. Now, if you have things you need to work on or you don't feel that confident in your game, it's not going to improve in the next week. So you need to go you have to go all out like Times Square where everyone's drunk and they don't care what's going on, and you can do that, or you need to go somewhere where your game won't hurt you. So as far as clubs and bars, it depends on what your game is.
All right. One of the suggestions I was going to make is to make sure that you got enough money on you so that you can go to different venues to make sure that you go to a venue where you're going to find single women.
Man, I'll say this much. If you're going to go out clubbing on New Year's Eve, you're going to spend some money. I mean, that's where they really jack the prices up. I mean, you're going to pay $100, $150, $200 to get in some places. The higher-end clubs, you're definitely going to pay $200, $300 just to get in. That's just the admission. So if you're going to be balling, that's the one day you're going to have to ball out.
What about hosting your own party? How do you think that factors in?
Hosting your own party, you can control the environment, who you invite, how many people are there, where it's held, the atmosphere. If there's some girls that you're trying to game, you can have them come through and bring all their friends. That would be a more intimate setting.
And do you think that there's a higher probability of somebody getting laid on New Year's Eve if they're hosting the party?
Well, if you're having a party in a house where there's rooms and furniture, stuff like that, that's always more conducive and homey to getting laid or getting something started because it's already a homey atmosphere, as opposed to a public place like a club. It's just more conducive to getting it on in a house.
If someone is going to a hall party specifically, what are some very key specific things they can do to calibrate to being in a hall party versus a house party?
Okay. If you're going to a hall party or I guess a club and bar would be in the same range, right? A hall party?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things you can do is you want to try and get a place that has an abundance of single women. No, or women, period, because you're going to go to a bunch of places where it's going to be the ratio, guys or girls, is going to be 10 to 1. You don't want to be there because everyone's going to be going for the same girl. So my first advice would be you got to go to more than one venue just to up the odds. And when you get there, find out what's going on. Talk to the bouncers. I mean, bouncers will tell you exactly what's going on. The place, what happened last year, this is how it went down. this is the time to be here. This is not the place to be. As a former bouncer, we have no problems telling you what's what. They don't pay us enough to be loyal. So, if the club we're at, we know our boy is at the club, and everybody's over there, we gonna send you to where our boy is. With no qualms. It doesn't hurt us. We get paid at the end of the night whether 2 people show up or 2,000 people show up. So, definitely ask the bouncer, especially that night. Actually, you should go out a few, because it's on a Monday. You should go out Saturday and Sunday, and the places that you go to, talk to those people, because they'll be able to tell you what the hidden spots for New Year's are going to be.
So then the couple of nights leading up to New Year's Eve, you should actually go to the places that you plan to spend New Year's Eve at.
Exactly.
Just to get a feel of the place.
Yeah, and ask, what was it like last year, New Year's? What places would you recommend?
All right, I have a question for you that came to me today in a phone call.
Okay.
Let's say the guy doesn't have too much game. He's a newbie at this. He's still struggling, developing some sort of a social persona. How does he even approach the bouncers? What should he say so that he doesn't come off as a needy or a very clingy type of guy? I mean, obviously you go up to a bouncer, you want to talk to them, you want to get information, you want to present yourself as someone respectable. What does a bouncer look for in a respectable person to give them good information?
Well, the good thing about talking to bouncers is we'll talk to pretty much anybody. One, because we're bored. I mean, we would talk to a wall if it would talk back. That's how bad it gets sometimes. So as long as you're not drunk, or high or something, we'll pretty much, answer any of your questions. As far as appearing needy or anything, that's really hard. Because basically you're just saying, hey, what's up? Is this a good place? Do you know what's going on? As long as you start asking questions, you'll be fine.
All right. What's the best way to approach a bouncer, and what are some of the experiences you've had where as a bouncer, where people have approached you trying to figure out what's going on? What are some things not to do to a bouncer?
Okay. First thing. For some reason, everyone thinks that all bouncers know where to find drugs at. That's the first. We don't know. All of us, okay? Don't ask the bouncer if he knows where the spots are. We don't know. That's the first thing.
All right.
Some people think it's cool to intro like that. Like they're going to form some bond with us. So please don't do that. Another thing that would tick us off is ask us where the bathroom is and it's right in front of us. That really bothers us. Big sign right back of a bathroom. You said, where's the bathroom at, buddy? So don't do that either.
So basically, no stupid questions. Just be direct and ask about the social environment.
Right, exactly. Because we can talk, but it's not like we can have a running conversation. Because then they'll get on us for that too. Because we're supposed to be watching the club.
Got it.
So you have to be direct. If you want, you got to spit it out right away so we can address it and keep it moving.
Will, we have to go to our first commercial break. When we come back, and you can talk to Will and ask him some questions about how to pick up and get laid on New Year's Eve. You're listening to Frank Talks, Pleasures and Lifestyles.
Honest, frank approaches, trusted professional conduct, timely taboo topics, and the most eclectic ensemble of interview guests ever produced. Listen to Frank Talks to learn about the different sides of the human spirit. Be sure to visit our website at www.franktalks.com for the most up-to-date information and the latest downloads of programs just like the one you're listening to now.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by From Loser to Seducer by Frank B. Kermit. Ladies, is there a man in your life that got dumped for being clingy, needy, or was told he was a loser, but you still think he's a nice guy and want to help him? He could be a relative or even a friend, and you know he needs the help. Do you want to be the one to give him the gift that will change his life forever? How about the gift of a great biography? Buy him the book, From Loser to Seducer by Frank B. Kermit. It is the story of a nice guy who triumphs over his inner demons to find his own hidden power. Help a nice guy in your life discover his inner seducer to find his soulmate. Buy this book now at franktalks.com.